Imagine a place where nature itself haunts you, jungles where one wrong step means death, forests where the air is poisonous, rivers hide predators, and people disappear without a trace. But the scariest thing isn't the animals. The scariest thing is that in some of these places, even experienced researchers refuse to return a second time. Today, we will enter the most dangerous jungles on the planet, places where civilization ends and true horror begins. Scattered across different parts of the planet, there are jungles where dozens of deadly threats lurk in every square kilometer, from poisonous creatures to dangerous diseases. We are used to imagining the jungle as an exotic green paradise with bright colors and incredible nature. But the reality is completely different. There are places here where the air is suffocating, the water is poisoned, and nature itself literally hunts down everything alive. We are talking about millions of square kilometers of impenetrable forests, temperatures over 40 degrees, and humidity in which the human body loses strength in just hours. It's almost impossible to escape here. One mistake is too costly and help is nowhere to be found. Today, we will find out which are the most dangerous jungles on the planet, what really lies in their depths, and why even experienced explorers avoid these places. We're entering right into the heart of the jungle. Daintree National Park in Australia is often called the place where time stood still millions of years ago. This is not just a forest, but a living trap that looks deceptively beautiful. Just imagine walking through a forest that looked almost the same way before the first humans appeared. The history of this place is full of cases of tourists disappearing just a few meters off the beaten path. In the year 2017, a woman decided to cross a shallow river in this forest. She did not notice a predator weighing hundreds of kilograms watching her from the murky water. A crested crocodile attacked instantly and left her no chance of escape. But danger doesn't just lurk in the water. Rangers tell of a hiker who stumbled and reached for the nearest bush. His palm touched the leaves of a plant that looked completely ordinary. A second later, the man began screaming in pain that doctors later compared to both an electric shock and an acid burn. Even months after the treatment, the pain returned every time the water touched his skin. The plant is called Gimpy Gimpy. Its leaves are covered with millions of microscopic silicon needles that, when touched, penetrate the skin and release a powerful neurotoxin. They are almost impossible to remove. But even more horrifying is the story of a local farmer being attacked by a cassowary. Just imagine a bird that doesn't run away from a person, but attacks directly. The cassowary leaped forward and struck with a claw over 20 centimeters long. The injuries were fatal. Biologists consider the cassowary to be one of the closest living creatures to dinosaurs. Its legs develop incredible strength, and its speed is so great that a person has almost no time to react. Local Aboriginal people have looked upon this forest with fear for centuries. According to legends, the Daintree has its own consciousness and drives out foreigners from its territory. Elders tell of invisible guardians who abduct those who disturb the silence of the jungle. Some even believe that in the thickest parts lurks a yovi, the Australian equivalent of the yeti. Strange nighttime sounds and moving shadows fuel rumors that deep within this forest, there are still places where evolution has stopped. The scientific explanation is more prosaic, but no less frightening. The Daintree ecosystem has existed for over 160 million years. During this time, nature has created almost perfect defense mechanisms. The high humidity and specific bacteria in the soil mean that even a small scratch can turn into a serious infection in just hours. It's hard to believe that a simple bush or a bird can defend its territory more effectively than a gun. But in this forest, that's the reality. And this is just the beginning, because there is a place where the earth itself becomes a trap and even modern technology proves powerless. Next is the Darien Gap, a place where civilization simply ends. The island has become a death trap for anyone who has decided that modern rules of hospitality apply everywhere. Terrifying rumors have been circulating around this place for decades. Have you ever wondered why these people have not made contact with the outside world for thousands of years? For a long time, the Sentinelese were believed to be one of the harshest and most isolated tribes on the planet. Legends are told that deep in the mangrove forests, they hide ancient sanctuaries and perform rituals to protect them from the sea, from the iron birds. These stories of ruthless warriors turned the small island into a real fortress that even professional soldiers fear. But leaving the mystique aside, the reality is even scarier. Sentinel Island is a unique biological capsule. The biggest danger there is not the arrows, but what is not visible to the naked eye. The main problem is immunity. Due to their complete isolation, the islanders have no protection against even the most common diseases. Imagine that a common cold could wipe out an entire tribe in just a few weeks, turning into a powerful biological weapon. That is why visiting the island is strictly prohibited. The island's jungle is also a perfect protection. The dense mangroves have roots so tightly intertwined that passing through them is almost impossible. During low tide, sharp coral reefs are found around the island that can tear the bottom of a boat. Here, geography itself works against civilization, creating a natural zone of complete isolation. The Sentinelese defend their home consciously. But deep in Africa, there are forests that kill without warning. There, the enemy is not man, but an invisible virus and eternal darkness. We're heading to the Congo River Basin. If you think you've seen a truly dense forest, you've never been to Central Africa. The Congo River Basin is a giant green ocean, where the treetops intertwine so densely that even on the sunniest day on Earth, twilight reigns. Just imagine walking through a forest where the sun hasn't touched the ground in hundreds of years. Under your feet is black, rotten water and layers of decaying leaves as thick as a man's height. The history of these places is an endless list of disasters and human losses. In the 19th century, European expeditions entered these jungles with hundreds of trained soldiers. Months later, only a few people returned, looking like living skeletons. People died not from bullets or arrows, but from diseases that medicine at the time couldn't even classify. There are known cases where entire detachments disappeared into the thickets without a trace, without leaving a single record behind. Today, the place remains just as dangerous as it was a century ago. Doctors from international organizations still find themselves in remote villages with outbreaks of typhus unknown to science. Medical teams are discovering populated areas where diseases cause irreversible damage to internal organs in just hours. And biologists often don't even have time to identify the type of virus. These forests remain a huge blank spot on the security map, where a hygiene error could lead to catastrophic consequences. The legend of Mokele Mbembe has been told among locals for years. Could an ancient reptile have survived in the isolated swamps? Hunters from the Pygmy tribes describe a creature the size of an elephant and with an incredibly long neck that inhabits the inaccessible swamps of Likuala. They say the monster capsizes boats and drowns anyone who enters its territory. Even more ominous are the stories of zones of absolute silence, where all the birds and insects suddenly fall silent. Imagine standing in the darkness and feeling the nature around you seem to be holding its breath before an attack. Locals avoid such areas for tens of kilometers, considering them cursed. But science explains the hostility of the Congo in an even more real and terrifying way. This place is an ideal natural incubator for some of the most dangerous pathogens on the planet. It was here that the Ebola and Marburg viruses, capable of destroying the human body in days, were first discovered. The constant heat of around 40 degrees, combined with extreme humidity, creates conditions in which bacteria multiply at an incredible rate. Malaria and sleeping sickness are widespread and claim thousands of lives each year. But in addition to invisible viruses, the Congo jungle also attacks the human psyche. The density of vegetation creates a feeling of eternal exile. Biological rhythms are disrupted. Have you ever tried to stand in a place where there is no real light and no horizon? The lack of sunlight and complete isolation can cause severe depression and uncontrollable panic attacks after just a week in the bush. The body is weakened by parasites, and the mind begins to see threats in every shadow. But even these gloomy forests cannot compare to the last item on our list. There, the rivers are teeming with creatures that see humans as prey, and beneath the treetops lie the ruins of ancient cities, which we are only now beginning to discover. We are going to the heart of South America, to the endless Amazon. The largest jungle on the planet is a place where the scale of nature breaks the will of every person. The Amazon basin spans the territories of 9 countries. The space is so vast that hundreds of cities could hide within it. More than 5 million square kilometers dense vegetation where every step could be the last. The most famous and darkest story of these places is related to Colonel Percy Fawcett. In the 1920s, this experienced explorer entered the forests of the state of Mato Grosso to discover a place he called the Lost City of Zito. He believed that a highly developed ancient civilization was hidden in the heart of the jungle. Fawcett entered the thicket and was never seen again. Over the following decades, dozens of expeditions tried to find his tracks, but the jungle swallowed up the adventure seekers without a trace. Even today, the Amazon continues to test people to the limit. Modern travelers lost in these forests often describe complete disorientation after just a few hours of walking. Imagine an experienced hiker who fights for days to survive in a place where every night there are poisonous snakes, predators, and invisible threats around him. Often, rescue groups find only empty camps and scraps of clothing, silent monuments to human self-reliance. For centuries, the legend of El Dorado has drawn people to these forests. The Golden City, supposedly hidden in the most inaccessible part of the continent, has killed thousands of treasure seekers. There are also theories that deep in the jungle, tribes still live who have never seen an outsider and preserve the knowledge of ancient empires. But legends don't just apply to humans. Have you heard the stories of giant anacondas over 15 meters long? Locals and some travelers claim that in the murky tributaries of the Amazon, they have seen snakes capable of swallowing an adult deer or even a caiman. Official science is skeptical of such dimensions, but the many stories make one wonder what we still don't know about the depths of these places. Modern science is only now beginning to unravel the secrets of the Amazon. Thanks to LiDAR technology, scientists are scanning the ground through the dense vegetation and discovering the ruins of vast settlements, roads, and canals. This proves that Percy Fawcett may not have been completely crazy. There really were millions of people living in these forests at one time. But today this space belongs to other forces, to dangerous creatures, poisonous plants, parasites, and rivers in which man is not master, but prey. One of the most terrifying threats is the bullet ant. Its sting causes pain that can last all day. No less terrifying is the candiru fish, which is said to be able to penetrate the human body through natural openings and cause nightmarish consequences. The plants themselves also participate in the war for survival. Local tribes use the sap of lianas to prepare the poison curare, which paralyzes the victim's breathing in just minutes. The vast number of tributary and the swampy terrain make the Amazon one of the most difficult areas for any rescue operation. The jungle remains the last frontier where man is not the master, but only a temporary guest. These 5 places prove that behind the bright greenery often lies an ecosystem that learned to defend itself millions of years before us. Conclusion: the jungle may look beautiful from afar, but inside it there is no romance. There is dampness, disease, predators, poisons, darkness, and a silence that can break the human mind. Daintree, the Darien Gap, Sentinel Island, Congo, and the Amazon all show the same thing. Nature does not need man. She lets him in just temporarily. And if he forgets that, the price could be deadly. If you found this video interesting, subscribe to the channel and press the bell. Write in the comments if you would dare to enter one of these jungles, because sometimes the most beautiful places on Earth are also the most dangerous.